You're standing in the middle of a room, carpet under one foot and hardwood under the other, and you're wondering if there's a vacuum that will actually make life easier instead of adding another gadget you have to remember to charge, empty, and fight with. You've probably read a dozen spec sheets that promise 120 minutes of runtime, automatic floor detection, and a HEPA lifetime filter, but what you really need is something that fits into your daily rhythm without becoming a new source of frustration. That hesitation is exactly why I spent a few weeks living with a Miele Triflex HX2 Pro, swapping it between the living room, the kids' play area, and the hallway to see how it behaves when the dust really starts to pile up. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the biggest thing about the Triflex is the 3-in-1 shape. You can use it as a traditional upright, flip it into a handheld for stairs or upholstery, and then fold it into a compact stick for quick spot cleanups. In a house where you have a mix of floor types, that flexibility is more than a gimmick. It's a practical answer to the one-size-fits-all problem most stick vacuums have. I tried the upright mode on a thick carpet in the family room, then switched to handheld mode to pull pet hair off the couch, and finally used the stick form to glide over the kitchen tiles while the dishwasher was running. Each transformation took about 2 seconds, and the vacuum stayed balanced, which meant I didn't have to set it down and wrestle with a new attachment every time I changed surfaces. The battery life is another claim that gets tossed around a lot, so I put it to the test. Miele rates it for up to 120 minutes, but that figure assumes you're on a low power setting and the filter is clean. In real use, I was alternating between carpet and hard floor, which pulls more power. On a typical cleaning session of about 45 minutes mixing upright, handheld, and stick modes, I still had roughly 30% charge left when I finished. That translates to enough juice for a second quick pass or a short burst in the bedroom. If you're looking for a vacuum that can power through a full house clean without stopping to plug in, the Triflex gives you a comfortable margin, though it isn't infinite. A quick recharge tops the battery back up in about 45 hours, which fits nicely into a weekend cleaning schedule. What really sets the Triflex apart in day-to-day life is the automatic floor detection. The vacuum senses when you move from carpet to hardwood and automatically adjusts suction power. In my experience, the transition is seamless. You won't hear the motor revving up or feel a sudden loss of suction. The sensor works well on standard floor transitions, but it can be a little finicky on very low-pile rugs that feel more like hard flooring. In those cases, the vacuum might stay on the lower suction setting, leaving a faint dust trail. It's not a deal-breaker, just something to be aware of if your home has a lot of low-pile runners. Miele's maintenance-free HEPA lifetime filter is a selling point that actually matters when you consider how often you have to replace filters on other models. The filter in the HX2 Pro is sealed behind a simple latch, and it's designed to capture 99.95% of particles down to 0.3 microns. Over the course of a few months, I didn't notice any decline in suction, and there was no need to wash or replace the filter. That translates to less time spent on upkeep and no recurring expense, which is a real win for busy households. Now, who should consider buying this vacuum? If you have a mixed floor home, a pet that sheds, or simply dislike juggling multiple cleaning tools, the Triflex's shape-shifting design is a genuine convenience. It also appeals to people who value a long battery life that can handle a full house in one go, especially when you're not keen on plugging into the wall every few minutes. The HEPA filter makes it attractive for allergy sufferers who want a set-and-forget solution. On the other hand, if you live in a small studio with only one type of floor, or you're on a very tight budget, you might find the price tag steeper than necessary for the features you'll actually use. The 3-mode flexibility is less compelling when there's only a single surface to clean. Let's talk about the practical downsides I noticed. The first is weight. Even though it's cordless, the unit sits around 5.5 pounds, which is lighter than many traditional canister vacuums but still noticeable when you're holding it in handheld mode for an extended period, like cleaning a dog's bed. If you have very limited upper body strength, you might feel a strain after a half hour of continuous handheld use. The second trade-off is the dust cup capacity. At roughly 0.6 liters, you'll need to empty it after a couple of rooms, especially on carpet where more debris is collected. That's not